Hi guys, welcome to another video. It is Technical Tuesday, as always, going to follow on from Sunday's video for the beginning of the week. Here's our shortlist. It is going to be an interesting week this week with so many news items, which we're going to cover in a second. This is our shortlist here that we're looking at for this week, and let's follow along and see how the market has unfolded from Sunday until now. And where do we go from here? Let's begin with the calendar. As always, we're going to look at a few possible scenarios setting up this week. So here's the calendar. We've got Tuesday, September the 19th, reminding you that we have New York session building permits from the US, and then the main one for today, the CPI numbers from Canada on the CAD there. We've got other more minor news on the dollar, but the CAD one is the main one to look for today. And then tomorrow, Wednesday, some yen news. Then we've got another CPI news on the pound. So that's paying attention to the pound pairs. And later on in the week, we've got news from Australia, Switzerland, pound again, the rate announcement. And then, what else do we have? Main news, we've got home sales in the US. And we have some yen news as well. Again, CPI. So really a busy week across many pairs. Let's go to the chart. Just going to focus on the CAD, CPI today. Bear that in mind. And the pound, let's see where we go from here. Okay, so what do we have here? Let's refresh ourselves with the dollar again, starting with the dollar as always, and we have got a bullish bias, and here we have a retracement at the beginning of the week and looking for this level to hold and continue higher. So the bias on the dollar is higher to reach to this high, and that will give us a little indication on the other pairs, dollar-based pairs. So here we are, the pound expecting the sell to continue to these next levels. Here's the daily picture. As always, just doing a little breakdown, top down, and seeing where the market is at and where we go to next. Here was Monday, today is this candle Tuesday, and these are the scenarios we were looking for. Remembering, of course, we have major pound news tomorrow. It may be much wiser to wait for tomorrow. We also have FOMC and the rate announcement tomorrow, so no surprise if there's going to be a lot of volatility. Really want to see the market settle down first, ideally. However, let's plan ahead. So this was the scenario. We've got this first scenario here. At the moment, we're just consolidating, so nothing to see here as expected. I think I mentioned this before. When the market comes into the news event, news days, we have usually consolidation, a range movement, whatever you want to call it, before we get that volatility kick in. So as expected, that is the case. This would be the first scenario, a move higher and then a drop. Or if we just get a straight drop, then a retracement, pulling back to a better price and continuing down to these targets would be the idea. But of course, really prefer the better price up here. That is the more expensive price, and that is the pound dollar. Here's the bearish weekly idea once again. Let's move on to the next one, dollar yen. Similarly, with the dollar index expecting the bullishness, here was that last week's candle that left a week. Looking now on the daily, we have that inside bar on Monday, and today expecting tomorrow perhaps on FOMC continuation of that. And what do we have here? Once again, a ranging environment. So here was that initial idea, that head move lower, which we had on Monday, brief poke. Let's see if we get another run lower. Something like this. Another run lower before we head before we head higher and create new swings to go to the upside. If we mark out the actual news, FOMC news, and the rate, it's around about here. So that's a good marker for you to know. Don't be surprised if you see the market range before then. Just continue to chop around. Really not a high probability scenario until the event itself unfolds. That's dollar yen, and now CAD yen. We do have CAD news. This was the expectation. Let's just go on the weekly again. Here's last week's candle, the bullishness to continue. We need to break through this level and then head into the next level, which is what we are getting. Monday, we had that move. So break higher, come down, which was this scenario. So break higher, come down and move to the upside. So we can now get rid of this idea. And the next level to look for would be somewhere here. This being a possible scenario. Let's see, again, we have to wait for the volatility to actually take place. So we do have CAD news, and FOMC again could affect the yen, and also yen news after that. So plenty to watch out for. So anyway, the point being, a better price, then some kind of reversal to continue to the top side. And the new invalidation becomes the previous swing point, which would be here. So I don't want to see the market fall below here. Okay, that's the idea on the CAD yen. Let's move on to the next one. We've got euro pound. Euro pound expecting the bullishness. Here we are. The continuation of that bullishness, previous bullish weeks. If you've been with me, if you watched the previous video on Sunday, then you're probably familiar with this. If not, then just a quick recap. Bullish days continuing, first target which we reached, and then the second target, ultimately the high there. This was the idea, and we had that little poke into this area on Monday, then it moved higher. We also have, as you can see, once we broke, another level that we're moving away from. And in terms of the next idea, it would be something like, well, obviously clean break of this level, again, better price, and then continuation. So we'll be watching for this area here. Let's see how it plays out. It's also possible that if we don't do that, then we get another push to the downside. Then this would just be another better price, and then continuing higher. And the idea for invalidation would be now previous swing, which is here. Okay, that is the euro pound. Continuing on that bullishness, clear to see we're clearing new highs, creating new highs, higher lows. So pretty straightforward, this one. Euro New Zealand. So here we're on Euro New Zealand. What we did is we marked out our zone that we were interested in, which was this zone here. And now we're waiting for the right time to kick in order to trade, and we'll wait for that price action to gauge the right time. And what do we have? Well, we had Euro news. We also have, I believe, yes, we do have some New Zealand news tomorrow, and Aussie news as well, which can affect the New Zealand dollar too, as they're both close together. Now, what do we want to see from here? Well, we wanted to see this break or a pull lower and then continue. So far, we're just ranging. Let's have a quick look on the 4 hour. Here we are, we're just ranging within that area that we were looking at right here. The next thing to wait for would be a break of the swing. So now that we have created a possible other swing, so it will be a break of this, and then this sort of idea. Once again, break, pulling back to a better price, continuing to the top side. The other possibility was also something like this, where we have a pull lower, come back into here once again, into this low, and if we come back, I could just draw another level for you. If If we come back into this low once again and we create some kind of reversal, and then once we reverse, then we're going to be creating new swings. If we're expecting the high side, top side to reach for, then this will be ideal. At the moment it's a kind of a range, so I'm looking at this whole thing as being a range, and once we actually have a move, then it'll become more clear. The more we wait, the more clarity we get in the market, and it's always, not always, but most of the time wiser when things are not quite clear, wiser to wait and see what happens, especially during a big news week. If you do like this video, remember to click like, subscribe if you haven't already. There's going to be regular updates. We're going to be firing these out, and you can follow along with us in the market. And yeah, thank you for being here. Pleasure to have you. Let's move on. That's Euro New Zealand. Now I've got Euro CAD. Again, Euro CAD, we're waiting for a better price here to start the week. If you want to have a quick look on the weekly, just to remind you, here's that bearish week, looking for that continuation to reach into these lows and head lower to get a cheaper price of this whole swing. That was the idea. And what do we have? Well, Monday, Friday, Monday, consolidation. Today, consolidation. This was the idea. And once again, it is a range, as you can see here. I really want to see that better price. So the plan on this, it continues, and just going to wait. What would be ideal would be to see the candle open, reach higher, create a wick, and move lower. So something like this would be the best scenario. However, if we just drop and collapse lower, then the alternative is this. So break of the previous week's low, pull it back to get a better price, and then continue to the downside. Not going to be taking any action. Once again, CAD news, Euro news, and it would be clearer to wait for more price action the next day and then see what happens. So at the moment, we're just breaking that down on Tuesday, preparing ourselves for what is about to happen, that could possibly happen, and then if it plays out and we see some good price action reversals, then it's higher probability to take part. For now, it just depends on what happens in the market. Yeah, once again, patience, waiting to see how it plays out. Here we've got oil. Again, oil was another bullish one, bullish, as you can see, unrelenting. And here's that first, that initial, that main target, I should say, to the top right here, this swing. And we have got that continuation of the bullishness. If we go down to the 4 hour, this was the scenario I was looking for. So Monday, we had that break. This was the preferred one to get a cheaper price. However, we had this break, pull back, and now continuing. However, what we can see here is a possible breakdown and a failure, because we are now getting very bearish price action, and this low may not hold. How to approach it from here? Well, again, this could be the next possible scenario. If this scenario fails, you can't catch all of them. Sometimes they just reverse against you, but the market does what the market will do. And with that, really, the best scenario would be this, to head back into these lows for this invalidation to hold and to get a good price to move higher into the target. The reason I'm not going to look at this scenario anymore, because we are so near to this high, and the only way to play this, if there was an opportunity, is a very, very short-term intraday setup. So because it's so near, it's not worth the entry, not worth the risk. Okay, let's see again how we go. FOMC tomorrow. It is really wiser probably to wait for even Thursday, and don't be surprised if there's a lot of choppiness today and tomorrow. Okay, and lastly, gold. So what do we have on gold? Gold, we still had a bearish bias, and we're waiting for confirmation with these lower lows, lower highs, and we're waiting for the market to create that reversal at this zone, and so far none of that has happened. Not a sign, not a chance. It's just continuing to rip higher. It looked a bit like it here, however we did not have any clean breaks, no clear swings, no clear momentum move lower like this bearish candle. We just had it higher, so still going to wait for that, ideally on the daily, to wait for it to move lower. So the next idea, the next opportunity, the next scenario, let's call it that, would be needing to see a break of these structures. So we have one break here, that will be the first one to watch for, and then a second one here. So ideally, if we have that FOMC arise and the rate announcement, we get the volatility kick in, and then we have a big push to the downside, and then from there we can look for possible entries. This level is still in play. This is still the invalidation point, and as long as we don't breach that, let's just extend it here, as long as we don't breach that, then we are still bearish. That is the bias for this week. Bullish on the dollar, so it's going to be reverse on commodities and metals. So gold price being priced in dollars here, dollar bullish means gold bearish traditionally. Let's wait for this to happen, and then we may reassess. Thursday will be a little bit clearer, I'm sure. That is the shortlist for this week. Yep, that's what we've got. Hope that helps you. If it doesn't, go back over the video, just replay, slow it down, and follow along. And also you may want to mark it up with your chart as well, see how it lines up, whether you agree this is not trading advice, is just a possible scenarios playing out in the market according to price action probabilities as I see it for the moment. So always remember to manage your risk, use your own analysis, make your own informed decisions, and I will see you on Thursday, which will be after the rate announcement and FOMC. Will also be after the, I have it written down, the CAD news will be the pound news. We should see more interesting price action, and we'll go from there. Okay, that's your Tuesday update. Thanks for joining me, guys. My name is Dima, and I will see you on the next video for Thursday's update. All right, bye for now.